what we have today. 3 different groups, claiming Ispon. I think that has brought Ispon to disrepute over the years, and a lot of young professionals suffered for it. But all the same, we thought, okay, this is an important assignment ahead of us. And once you say you want to start investigating, which is part of our mandate, to investigate crimes and financial misappropriations and what have you. But we said no. What is in the past should be in the past. What we should do is to focus on the future. How do we bring back all the groups together to be united? And let's move Ispon forward. And we thought investigation and checking of past records would just delay the process. So we as a committee, we decided, look, let's just leave the past behind and bring them together. And after listening to all of them, we came to the conclusion that it's something that we can resolve and as quickly as possible. And after listening to them, we invited the 3 of them together. And I remember vividly on that day, after speaking with each and every one of them and giving them all the reasons why they need to come back together and what have you, I remember the committee gave them 10 minutes to go and reconcile. And all the 3 groups, the group heads, went out, took the 10 minutes, maybe a little bit over 10 minutes, and they came back with one voice. Because we said, look, if you come back with one voice and speak to us, then we know we have a chance to reconcile amicably. Otherwise, we'll stretch the arm of the law and do what is right. Because we will not allow selfish interest to scuttle an important institute like the Ispon. But to my surprise, what we thought would be resistance, but at the end of the reconciliation, that within 10 minutes, they came back with one voice, which was remarkable. And we were all elated. And that day, I knew that the members of Ispon, all of them, all the groups, have one thing in common: the interest of Ispon and safety in Nigeria. All the other things are just semantics and sentiment. But the main thing that we understood on that day is that they all love Ispon, and they all love the idea of Ispon becoming united, let the fight end. And that made us really, really happy. Because, when you want to flog a child, you have to use your strength, and it's not fun. But if the child is, you can scold the child, it's easier to say you want to flog the child. So it became very easy for us to do the right thing. And on that day, we signed a communique. Every one of them signed. It was a very happy occasion. And we all signed, and we took pictures, and we decided to publish it together. The members funded the publishing of the communique, which we sent out, that Ispon is uniting, and we're going to conduct fresh elections by October, and every group can go and continue with its own activities, but nobody should sign new certificates unless if a new president emerges. And that was agreed, and everybody signed to it, and we went our way. So we established a CTC. Part of the agreement is to establish a caretaker committee, and each of the groups would provide 4 people outside the president. The presidents are not allowed to be part of it, but each of the presidents should nominate 4 people to form the caretaker committee, and which they did. And meetings started, and the committee broke down into smaller committees to check the reason why Ispon had a problem. One is to change financial policies, so that once you allow too much control of finances to maybe the president or a few, then you would always have problem. But so we want to change the policy in order to make it difficult for one person to misappropriate funds. And once you do that, people will do the right thing. And if there's checks and balances here and there, then I think things would go right. Everybody is good, but once you have leverage, people get into problems once in a while, and they say, okay, let me just borrow 10,000 and return it. He will return after some time again, and before you know it, millions are going and are not being returned. So everybody is good, but unless if the system allows you to be bad. So we broke down into subcommittees to check all those things, the policies, the AGM committees, uh, uh, the board members and the reconstitution and all that, so that we can see how the Ispon would now stand up and rise as one unified, strong Ispon. And while that is ongoing, we received a letter from one of the groups that is under the leadership of Iwagu. Iwagu, I believe, is a good man. And I've had interaction with him. He's energetic and everything. And I believe he's a very dedicated man. But what the problem is, I think, is within his ranks. People around him are not giving him the right advice. And he wrote that letter of withdrawal. What we expected that if he's aggrieved on any issue, he would come over and say, I am not happy, or I don't see this problem, how it will affect blah, blah, A, B, C, D, so that we can understand and fix it. Because no system is perfect. If there are gaps, we need to identify them together and solve them and move on. But he just wrote a blank letter stating some baseless accusations of this and that. And then we knew he just wants to get out. For whatever reason, we are yet to understand. We wrote to him, come, what is the problem? Let's speak. Come, let's hear you so that we can fix this problem. But the day he was supposed to come, he only sent a text message that he's not coming again. And it took us by surprise that such a gentleman can do such a thing. But all the same, we at the committee level refused to take punitive action. Why? Because we still believe that he would come back to the fold and this thing can continue as a team. But the thing is that whether he supports it or he doesn't support it, this process has started and it will come to fruition by the grace of God. And we don't think anything can truncate it. We have done our homework. We have done all we need to do to make sure that this conference takes place and an AGM will be conducted where an election will be conducted and a new president and a board will emerge. And from now till then, it is still open for everyone to be part of this process. The two groups are really working tirelessly to see that it works. Those are nominated by the other two groups. The group from the Iwagu side are still on the platform. I don't know what they are still doing there if they are not interested, but we decided to leave our doors open for him to reconsider and be part of the system. Nobody is above government. Nobody is above the law, and we in the National Assembly were the custodian of the act that is establishing Ispon. And one of the things we are trying to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again is to reenact the law. The process is ongoing, and the Speaker House Committee, National Assembly is 100% behind it, and he's given us the full support to see that this bill for reenactment goes really fast. And what we are hoping is for Ispon, based on maturity of the members that we have seen, especially those we have been interacting with in trying to bring Ispon to unify. We thought it's premature to just change the act. Things like instead of election, let there be nomination by either the Minister of Labor or whoever we decide we think is the best to do that, or the president himself. But we've written the bill. We are putting it on hold to see how this goes out. Because if it runs out well, that means at the end of the day, we don't need to change that. Democracy is always the best option. And we don't want an Ispon where people would be imposed on, anybody can be imposed. But even though there will be a good criteria to choose, just like ministers and head of agencies are chosen, Ispon too can have that. And then we can have sanity. But at the same time, we want to give Ispon a chance to do the right thing. And once we come through this process without any hitch, then we will shelve the idea of changing some clauses of the Establishment Act to limit to things that will just bring progress to Ispon, and even giving it more teeth to bite. Because even though the act says some acts are punishable by law, some you go to prison and some fine, but I think we should have more teeth to bite, so that Ispon can do its work properly, and offenders can be punished for their offense. I think that's the only way people will take safety serious. By and large, the organizers of the conference are working day and night to see that this conference comes to life, and a date has been set. Everything is online. I think the date is 15th to 17th of October, which will take place in Abuja. Hopefully, and we're hoping that many people would be part of that process. I would like to stop here and see if there are more questions, then we can answer, then we can go on from here.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Like we said, if we have any question, please, you can actually raise up your hand, or yes, raise up your hand or drop your question in the chat room. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So you have mentioned about the addressing the letter that came from the one of the factions, and I'm glad that we heard you say that there was a response, even though all these things happen underneath. It is the publication from one side that we see, because we are asking the question, if this letter has been sent by a faction showing their concern, showing that they are not satisfied, is there a response to actually attend to them? And I'm glad that you answered that for the first letter. But in recent times, which has also been what professionals have sent to me personally, they send this letter to me, and I'm also sure that we also send it across when we came across the letter that spoke about the AGM that was done, that an AGM has already been done by Ispon, and they have already launched a logo, and there is no other AGM coming up again. And the letter contained those dates, and I'm very sure that you will have come across this same letter in recent times, I think around last week or upper week. So this actually brought serious concern to professionals that what is happening, because this is another letter that is recent. So we want to know what step has been taken concerning this other one. Is there, like you have said, you have done everything possible to bring the open arms. You said that Dr. Wangu is a good person. He has a good intention. And at the same time, we need to look at the way forward. Has there ever been, apart from calling him, which he refused to come, like you said, have there ever been any other means? And concerning this recent letter, what has been done so far concerning it?
Yeah, thank you very much. This recent letter, we're yet to see it, and when we see it, would address it accordingly. His aim is just to scuttle the conference. He doesn't want it to hold. He organized a 10th year anniversary of Ispon. That was not an AGM, and that was not a conference. It was a 10th year anniversary. We saw it and we allowed it to go. Because if Ispon is 10 years and he's willing to celebrate, the agreement we had on that day did not stop him from doing that. So we allowed that to pass. And he launched a logo, which for the I have a good thinking about him, because I know he has the energy and he has the passion. But at the same time, it doesn't warrant someone like that to commit an offense like stealing intellectual property. The logo he launched was designed by the CTC. They paid money to designers to produce that logo. And because of the people, the 4 members he nominated are still on the platform, they stole that logo, and he quickly used it to publish and say Ispon is launching a new logo. You see, we still suppressed our dissatisfaction and emotions over that, because we felt raising issues like just a design logo and that he launched would derail the process. So we decided to let that go. But that is an intellectual property that he stole, and he launched it, on false pretense, because he just wants to see that it doesn't work. Now, we have over 10,000 safety professionals in Nigeria. I don't know how one person and his cohorts can hold people to ransom. We have to say no to that. And it will get to the point that we have no choice but to act. But as far as I'm concerned, right now, we're still leaving our doors open for him to reconsider his actions and come back, and everything will be forgiven and we'll move on. Otherwise, we will not allow him to derail this process. All his antics are to derail. He's writing accusations that this person stole this money. The National Assembly has the right to summon him. If he doesn't come, we'll issue a bench warrant and bring him to the National Assembly, and he must answer to his term in office. All the monies he has used, he would have to account for them. We have many ways to punish this gentleman. He has committed so many offenses, which we have, on our fingertips. But we don't want to go to that route. We want him, because he is important. Him and his team have been part of Ispon for a very long time, and their wealth of knowledge is still needed. So we want everyone to be on board. At the end of the day, Ispon will be better off with people like that. They are resource materials. And the thing is, we are not stopping anybody from vying for any position, him inclusive. Everyone that wants to vie for that position of the president should meet the criteria and vie for it. And let the people decide who they want. It's that simple. Now, if he's changing his mind, because as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't have a reason to change his mind. If he has, he would have come over to say XYZ is not right for me. What can we do? And we can call a meeting together and see how we can address those issues so that everyone will get a fair chance. But if he is just trying to fight the system to just make sure that nothing happens, then then at the end of the day, we'll make up our mind that he's an enemy to the country, enemy to safety, and enemy to the safety of Nigerians. And I would fight him dirty if that's what it takes. But for now, no, this is all in check. So him writing a letter saying this and that is just nonsense. You see, when this election holds, at the end of the day, National Assembly, the House Committee on Safety Standard, is the one to vet companies and organizations on their certification. And now, if every company, an organization that is an employer of labor, knows they have to get a HSE desk manned by a certified health professional. Now, we are to check that. And whatever certification we say is the right certification is the right certification. So whatever he does, his time would wither away. And believe me, young Nigerians are not happy. Those in the HSC, the safety profession, that this is ongoing. And thank God to groups like yours that are trying to see that this thing succeeds. And it makes us happy that, yes, Nigerians are trying to change. And we are just the catalyst, and we are the ones to push this process in the right direction so that we achieve. We want this thing to succeed. And one person cannot fight the whole of the 10,000 strong members that Ispon is having, backed by the National Assembly. You know, so I don't know. Sometimes I wonder how some people think they can just do things and think they can get away with it. The law is the law, and it will always catch up with people that have criminal tendencies. But at the same time, we should leave doors open for everyone to be part of this process. And I'm sure he's either listening or his people are listening. They should tell him the doors are open for him to come and bring his grievances so that we can look at them and let him be part of the process. It's not late. But the moment we close, the CTC closes collection of nomination forms, then it is too late for whoever has not joined, and the process will go on. So there's still time for everyone to vie. And I want to encourage the young people out there with the right experience, with the right resume to become president, to vie for the position. But it's open for everyone as far as everyone, whoever is coming with integrity and with the interest of Nigerians at heart. Then I believe others people would vote for them, and whoever emerges would give him the 100% support to succeed. Even after the process, we are not going to just, we would take our hands off Ispon so that whoever emerges and the board can take their actions, but we will be watching closely, and I will make sure that the next election will still be within our reach, which will be in 2 years' time. There will be a proper transition. And once we have this election and a proper transition before this term ends for us, as you know, politicians, after 4 years we go, then we'll make sure that the second election goes seamlessly. And once that is done, I think the process can go on. But we have ample time to change the law if that is what we have to do. So I think we are on the right track, and nobody should waste time, on his antics. I know what he has been doing before is to go to state courts to get injunctions here and there, which are even not related to, this is a federal issue. If he wants to go to court, he should go to a federal high court. But I know this is maybe one of the things he wants to do, but we are ready for that. To see that he scuttles this election. I don't know what he's afraid of. Is he not confident enough to see that that if he vies for this position, he will not win? And if that is the case, then he is not even qualified to be the president. Nobody should be afraid to vie for a position that he's working on. And he is the incumbent president. If he has had some good time now being the president, and he has been part of the system for a long time. He was the president, he was the chairman in Lagos, I think, something like that. And that means he will have made impact on people and on young Nigerians that will be willing to vote for him. So it just baffles me why he's afraid to be part of the system. Is he afraid that he cannot be voted? He's going to lose out? And if he loses out, is he afraid that he doesn't have anything else to do except Ispon, that he wants to hold on to it as if it's his birthright? I don't know. All those questions, I think in due course would answer. But as far as I'm concerned, no one individual can hold this process to ransom.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Then we have Mr. Wale Bakari, sir. Please kindly unmute, sir, and ask your question, sir.
Thank you very much, Waliu. Good evening, Honorable Gumi. Good evening. I've listened to you, and I must appreciate the depth of your understanding of these problems that have besetting Ispon. I'm very, very impressed by your grasp of the overall situation that the Institute is facing. And I want to thank you and your committee for the efforts that you've put into resolving the situation. Some of us are not as young as some of the younger members of the Institute, and we've been part of the Institute for over a couple of decades now. So we know where we started from, and we know what the genesis of this situation is and who the major stumbling blocks to progress have been. But like you have said, and which I also commend you for, putting what has gone in the past and charting a new way forward. So we won't go into that. I just want to lend my voice really to what you're doing, and to let you and your committee know that by far the largest majority of the members of the Institute across factions are totally in support of what you're doing, and you have our unalloyed cooperation, both from those of us who are veterans in the Institute, and I believe the younger ones as well. While I have your attention, I just want to quickly mention something that is very close to my heart, and I don't know if that has been brought to the attention of your subcommittee, and that is the OSH Act itself, over and beyond, because I see your passion for safety in the workplace, and and your intention to actually enforce some minimum levels of standards in the corporate Nigeria. But I also believe that over and above whatever you are able to do with Ispon, when we get this out of the way, I'd like your committee, with you as the chairman, of course, to take another look at the OSH Act that has become something of an abiku. Abiku in Yoruba is the child that keeps on being reborn and dying. It's been reborn several times, and we'd like you to, it will be a great thing, even more than, in my opinion, resolving this Ispon issue. It will be a great feather in the committees, in your subcommittees' heart, and in your own personal achievement to see this finally cross the line before the end of your tenure. And I'm sure that you can help us get this done. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for what you're doing. We appreciate you. And I think I'll just keep quiet here and let other people do some talking. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Yes. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Do you want me to respond now?
Yes, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Thank you very much for your support, Mr. Wale Bakari. And this is what we want from all safety professionals, to put hands on deck. Let's push this thing together. Let's do it amicably, and with your support, this thing would come to pass. So please keep it up. Let everyone be part of that conference. We know things are hard now, but we're trying to see how we can make it as affordable as possible so that people would attend. It's very, very important, because it's a milestone. It's a 10th year ton of event for Ispon, and I think it's going to be a great event where everybody would be there, and will reconcile. People that have been on the divide would come together and forge Ispon ahead. So thank you very much for that. On the issue of OSHA bill, it has come to our attention. It's part of our strategic plan to see that bill comes to life. Right now, Ispon is having the monopoly of an act, backed by an act. And once we have OSHA bill come to life too, then Nigerians will not be held to ransom again. These are part of the strategies we are trying to see, that people would have option. Just like the law school, the chartered accountants, you have the two different chartered accounting institute that people can go and attend. If you don't attend A, you go to B, and that would make it more flexible for the young practitioners. So I think that OSH bill is really, really important, and it's part of our strategy to stabilize things in the safety industry, and we're going to push for it. It's already we're already working on it. We've reviewed it already. The next step is to push it for first reading, which we're waiting for gazetting for it, then to push it further, because all the achievements done before have, when the assembly turns over, it has to start all afresh again, every proposed bill. So it's part of our agenda, and by the grace of God, we will see to it that it passes to become an act. So thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I remember that I think last year, upper year, we also had a walk for the OPS Act, championed by all our top experts in the field. And we all worked all across, I think, Lagos, Abuja, and some other states in order to move the OSH Act. So we will be glad if this is being taken and being addressed as soon as possible. Thank you very much, sir, for your commitment. So next in line, I can see Chinemi Okafo. You have your hands up. Please, can you unmute and ask your question, sir?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Waliu. Good evening, Right Honorable Gumi. Good evening, sir. My name is Chinemi Okafo, and I'm a safety professional. Yeah, so what I would want to say is not really a question. I'd like to give some contributions and also air my own views on this situation and how I feel we should move forward. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Right Honorable, for giving us audience. This tells me a lot about the kind of person you are. I'm seeing someone that is very humble. Yeah, because it is not every day that we get a politician sitting with us and discussing things that has nothing to do with dividing money. That said, on the issue of safety, I like the fact that you're keeping the doors open. For me, I'm a compliance person. I'm a disciplined person. I do not want us to come off again as toothless bulldogs, and then people do whatever they want to do and get away with it. Now, so it be. That's what they will keep saying. It's been on for years. And that is the problem. That's the reason why we are where we are as a country across all boards in every facet of the country, because people are not held accountable. There are no punitive actions for things. In fact, it gets to a stage where, because the personality of the person involved now determines the outcome of the punishment, either it's going to be heavy or light, or if the person is going to be let off the hook completely. These are the things that we need to address. Regardless of whoever big name it is that is involved, if they are tried on certain things and have failed, let the law run its course. If we say we want to let peace reign and let's let bygones be bygones, let's forgive and let's forgive. Okay, we have agreed. But to what point are we drawing the line and saying, hey, everybody, from this point onward, this is the recourse for this is the repercussion for this is the consequence for this. This is where we need to start looking at. That is one. Secondly, the unification of Ispon is not a negotiation with anybody. It is something that must happen if we want to move on as a country, because every workplace deserves an opportunity to be made safe. We can't keep playing politics with people's life, and people are dying every day. And there's certain sets of people that have made money when they had their own time in the sun and now holding us ransom, not allowing us to work and enjoy our work. We come up with hard-earned money to do certifications, and we're confused. We even managed to do, and then it's looking like it's not relevant. It's disheartening. We struggle to go to school, we struggle to do certification, only for us to come out and submit, and then because we are not from their faction and they have somebody in that place of work, we can't get a job, or we are made to be stupid. So these are things that I do not like as a person. I'm sorry if my voice is going up and all. This is telling you how bitter I am about this situation. Now, one more thing I'd like to say, Right Honorable Sir, please. The OSH Act is very important. And then the Ispon Act as it is empowers certain people to do whatever they want to do. I do not want that Ispon Act to remain as it is. Whatever needs to be touched to make it still be under the purview of the federal government, I think is better and safer that way for every one of us. Thank you so much, Lars. Thank you so much, Wale.
All right, thank you so much. Before Engineer Gumi responds to that, please let us know that we do not really have much time, so that for others that will be calling, please go straight to your question. If you have a contribution, drop it in the comment section. Let us read it out. We do not want to waste much time. Like we all know, it's going to be a busy Monday. And even our speaker too, we definitely know that you have also a lot of things to do. So please let us make it as swift as possible. Thank you so much, Chinemi Okafo, my professional colleague. And Engineer Suleiman, do you have a response to that, sir?
Yes, Chine Me Okafo. I didn't mother the name, right? Please, this is really exactly what is motivating us, the young people like you, and your passion for the industry. And I think if we have all the young people having similar passion, then nobody can hold this institute to ransom. So I want you all to use that passion in the right direction. The Ispon Act needs to be reviewed, and we are reviewing it. The OSH bill needs to be established, and we are working on it to see that it does. And that would give you the right environment to operate as safety professionals. You see, what the speaker told me when he gave me this committee, he said, look, safety of lives and property is the primary function of the government. And safety is just as good as having soldiers protecting you or police, while these safety professionals are the ones, protecting people when it comes to professional environment. So we should take it as serious as we are taking the army and the police, protecting us. It's all part of safety, and we have to take every aspect of safety very serious. And that is the reason why we propose the Safety Regulatory Board. Now, Ispon is obviously coming back under the fold of the Safety Regulatory Board and is going to monitor it. And what we want is, if there's going to be elections, the board would, if the change of baton is going to be through elections, then the board will be the ones to conduct it and to monitor and make sure everything goes well. But if this doesn't go the way we want, then we will have to change it to appointment, and the board will be the ones to appoint either the board or the minister, and that is still under the deliberation for Ispon. When it gets to public hearing, we'll all invite you to see how we can change it, because it's part of the process. But for the board, it has passed second reading. We've done the public hearing, and now we're going to send it very soon for third reading, and hopefully before the middle of next year, we should have the board established, because it's being sponsored by both me and the Honorable Speaker of the House. And it's one of the things he's really passionate about. So to answer your question, is to respond to you is, yes, we are doing all we can to see that the OSH bill comes to life, change Ispon, and keep up with the flame of passion for Ispon. And I think that is what would make it succeed at the end of the day. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, sir. If I may ask you, sir, how many more minutes do you have for us? Because it's almost 1 hour now, and we know you have other things to do.
No, don't worry. I had to travel back today just because of this meeting, and so I have as much time as you want. Just go and tell me when you're ready. No problem.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Otto, have you been called before? Because my network went off when you raised your hand the first time. Mr. Otto, are you there?
No, let me wait a bit. My question has been asked.
Okay. Thank you very much. Then Engineer, Mr. Engineer or Mr. Emmanuel, please, can you unmute now? Or have you asked your question also?
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Gumi. My name is Emmanuel Osuyak. I was excited to host you in Port Harcourt sometime last month in my facility. Thank you very much for that visit. I really appreciate it. And to go to the question, I really appreciate this conference, this town hall meeting, and giving us the opportunity to know what you are doing, you and your team. We really appreciate it. I want to ask a couple of questions. First of all, you talked about the issue with one of the faction which you mentioned. We all know him very well. We know how he uses all antics to scuttle AGM. He has done it, he did it in Benin when we had an AGM. He did it in Lagos. He came physically and disguised as somebody who is attending that AGM. And he came with some persons came and almost scuttled that PDC again. So we know him very well. I thank God for what you are doing, and you have already envisaged that it goes through state courts to obtain a court order to stop AGM. So I want to use the opportunity to appeal that you and your committee do all your best to stop him, because I know he's going to do that. He's going to come with court orders to stop that AGM. And I believe in your capacity and your team that you will not allow that to go through. My second question is, in the course of your initial briefing, you talked about interested persons who are interested in vying for any position should obtain nomination form. As that process commences, a lot of persons I know on the pipeline, we are not privy to that information because we have not seen any information like that about persons who are interested in any of the positions. So we want to know if the committee has published a criteria, election criteria, and every information that we need to know. And finally, from my end, I want to once again use the opportunity to commend you, sir, and your team for what you are doing. And we hope that come October 15 to 17, we'll have a brand new president and governing board. Thank you very much, sir. And I wish you and your team good. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. So, Honorable, please over to you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. You're such a great guy. When we came to your facility, we saw what you're doing, and you keep it up. This is what we want. We want to see young people, taking up the challenge and doing the right thing. And again, the passion I'm getting from the young people is really one of the things that I personally feel motivated to move on with this. And secondly, the other group members that have been really working tirelessly to see that this conference takes place. The antics of Iwagu, when you know history, you never go wrong. We know his history. We know all the antics he has been using before to just intimidate. Believe me, I when he does all these things, I just laugh at him. He's I want to leave the doors open. We don't want to, go too much into that, so that we can have him back, because the system needs people with interest, with experience to be part of the system and to support the system to work. Because we'll not be there all the time. National Assembly House Committee will not be there all the time to babysit Ispon. They have to be able to work on their own, and that can be achieved 100% if everybody is on board. So court orders, this, that, all the things that he wants to, we are ready for him. We are 100% ready for him. No shaking on that. And the thing is, to give the process credibility, National Assembly would only supervise. The House Committee on Safety Standards will only supervise. DSS, INEC, police, they are all involved in this process. We made sure to involve everybody that needs to be involved. And we're going to involve Labor, Minister of Labor very soon on that. And we're going to have all the right team to make sure that the process emerges with much credibility, so that once it is fine-tuned, and 10th year anniversary is a turning point. It's a huge milestone. Despite all the factions, despite all the problems, Ispon still kept the flag flying, and that's one of the reasons I still want to commend all those that even though we're not looking at the books, but we are trying to look the other way, but all the same, they kept the flag flying for 10 years, despite the ups and downs. And every great achievement must go through hurdles. And I will believe that after 10 years, it's time for it now to, lessons learned, move forward, and start a new leaf. And this is the perfect time for it. I know God chooses when He wants things to do. The commissioner of IG of police tried one time, he failed to reconcile, and so many other efforts have been made. And we believe after 10 years, maybe God has ordained it to turn a leaf now. Now, for the issue of nomination forms, we have the forms are ready to be sent out, but they will be sent out tomorrow, Monday at noon. So the criteria, everything will be sent out by Monday, and it will be circulated for everyone to apply. It's open. Everyone can apply, and like I said, we are trying to see that the process becomes as affordable as possible, because Ispon is a sacrifice. So we don't expect people to pay huge amount of money to vie for a position, so that it will not come back and be trying to recoup what they have sown. So we want it to be as plain as possible, and as simple as possible, and as affordable. So please, anyone that is interested should apply, and let's see how we can go. There will be vetting process. There will be all that would go. Whoever is going to apply would have to go under vetting, and before we allow people to be on the ballot paper, our due diligence. The CTC will do its due diligence first. So everybody is welcome to apply. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I saw Mr. Omogaga. Are you still asking questions, sir? Mr. Omogaga, you raised your hand the other time.
Yes, please, I did. Good evening, Minister Honorable. Good evening,
please,
Mr.
let's go to
Wale.
the question. All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Right, so ultimately, one of my questions has been asked and answered already regarding the form. The rest, the Minister Honorable have already given some answers to that, which is particularly to addressing the issue of the faction that pulled out. Just a minute to add to that, sir, that in my opinion, I'm thinking that we may likely go back to the same situation or the same starting point. Why? Because if at this point, one of the factions deem it fit to pull out, what guarantee do we have that at the end of the election, which may likely take place very soon, at the end of this election, that this other faction that pulled out will not come back again, pull the stunts that he has been pulling, and then we go back to square zero, and all of this effort goes to waste. As much as you know, he has been using all of the court tactics to make all of these issues to linger. And so if he goes back to these tactics, how are we going to address it? Because for my end, I'm feeling like he's going to go back to square zero. So that's where my concern lies. I don't know what are the modalities that you've put on ground, or that you are looking at to make sure that even if he do that again, we will not go back to square zero, but we will stand and be firm and to make sure that this decision stands, and then we move forward. That's just my concern.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't get the name, but
Omogaga.
Okay, Mr. Omogaga. Thank you. That's the passion we want. I will keep on repeating this. The young people have this in the success of this relies on the young people and all the safety professionals in Nigeria. Now, all the questions you are raising, all the concerns we are raising, we have raised them, and we have looked into them, and we have solutions to every step. If this A happens, B will go. If B doesn't go well, C is there. We have plan A, B, C, D on the table. So I think people should not be worried. We know the worst that can be done, and we know the best that can be done. The best is for all to be on board, and the worst that can happen, we're waiting for it, because we have already analyzed every possible scenario. Well, removing the criminal tendencies of things like hijacking a logo and quickly launching it to discredit the processes. It's just below the belt, and I think it's just appalling, things like that. And if that's what he is into, thank God most of you can see through that already. And if you can see through that, then it's public knowledge that this is how this person fights. He fights below the belt, and we are ready for him. You are talking about National Assembly. This is one of the arm of the government. It's so. An individual cannot say he would face National Assembly and fight, because this is beyond just House Committee on Safety Standard. This is National Assembly, taking the bull by the horn, and we are determined to see that this succeeds. Either ways, so not to worry. Do your part. Your part is, if you want to vie for an election, get a form and go through the criteria and make sure you abide by the law. And if you're not vying for any position, be part of the conference. That will send the right message to whoever. If the conference succeeds, the success of the conference means large turnout. And once it experiences a large turnout, it will send the right message to the right quarters. So it all relies on you. Whatever we do on that day, we can fill the whole hall with policemen and DSS and securities. But if you don't turn out, then that's the failure, not somebody using criminal tactics to derail a very similar process that would bring unity to Nigeria, bring unity to Ispon and safety to Nigeria. So you should not worry about that. Just do your own part. Everybody should do his own part. Either attend the conference or vie for a position that you feel you can contribute positively to Ispon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. In addition to that, in my own little sense, I remember in a quality management system, there's what we call traceability. And I think it can also help us. And that is after the process. Because at the end of the day, what makes an institution like Ispon to be an institution? Number one, we train professionals, membership, and they issue certifications. So if there can be a process whereby the kind of certification or certificate that will be issued to professionals, I'm just saying that will be issued to professionals after going through the training requirement, is the one that is being approved, maybe after the old process, maybe developed by the new Ispon that we have, and it's been approved by maybe the government, the House Committee, and this is being publicized, that if you see any other certificate that is different from this, being signed by this person, then it is fake. So I think these are the other management system processes that we think we can use to address issue of being scared of an existing, because at the end of the day, we can also make them to die a natural death, where they will have nothing to do again, since they know everyone knows the right angle and the right channel to go. I think this will also help us. Thank you so much for that, sir.
Yeah, you said the right things. All these things you mentioned are the things we have taken into consideration. What we said is all the three groups can continue to train, because we cannot punish young people that want to be trained. Every group should continue their training up until the conference. But we told them, do not issue any certificate. If you are asked to pay money for any certificate right now, do not pay. Wait for the new president to sign your certificate. And on that day, all the necessary security features will be used to safeguard the certificates issued to members. And every member of Ispon would go and be recertified with a new certificate, and that's what would work. And that's as a committee, National Assembly, and all the committees that go for on the spot assessment or oversight function. That is what they'll be looking out for. And so it's that's why I said one individual cannot hold an institution or a whole country to ransom. So whatever certificate issued by that is going to be issued by Ispon must be the right certificate, certified, agreed upon by the CTC, the new president, and the House Committee on Safety Standards and Regulations. And once that is confirmed, then it will be made public to everyone. And like you said, even if you don't fight dirty back, because as far as I'm concerned, it's just a survival, means of survival. Somebody thinks that his means of survival is going to be taken away from him, and so he's trying to fight dirty to maintain it. But all the same, we would go ahead. The conference would take place by the grace of God, and a president would emerge, and the whole system would now be unified. And young individuals Nigerians would be safe at the end of the day. So please, like I said, I would keep on repeating, it's all in your hands, you the practitioners of safety in Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So we have just 3 more persons. We have 3 leaders to ask questions. And I also have a final question to ask concerning the AGM that we'll be having in October, which everyone has also showed concern, which I will ask at the end of the day. So sorry, we can't take more than these 3 because of time. So if you are just raising up your hand now, sorry, we can't attend to you now. So the last 3 is, I don't know if it's Dr. or Mr. or Prof. Ibrahim Saliu. I can see Engineer Friday and my mentor, Mr. Dapomalade. So these are the 3 questions that will be, or contributions that we'll be attending to, and want to leave here at what, 9:30 we should be through, so that everyone will prepare for tomorrow. So I'll first call on Mr. or Dr. or Prof. Ibrahim Salau. Please kindly unmute,
okay.
Sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Mine is going to be very brief. I was privileged to meet Honorable Gumi early last week, and I was really taken aback. I met him and his committee members, and I was really taken aback by the sincerity of purpose and the efforts, their commitment to uniting the safety community in Nigeria. And I just want to commend this effort, and I want to assure him that I'm fully in support, and by God's grace, I will be in Abuja in October. Myself, my network, as much as possible, will be in Abuja, and whatever support that we can provide, we will, to ensure that we realize the objectives of this unification effort. Thank you, Honorable. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It was a great pleasure, speaking with you. And I was really happy, that we have so many resource people, so many people with good knowledge on safety, in Nigeria, and with good passion and concern for Nigeria. I think that meeting really gave me a lot of insight too. So it was a two-way benefit. Thank you very much.
All right. Before we go ahead, Mr. Okay, I'm unmuted. Before we go ahead to Engineer Friday, I will quickly have, because there are complaints that we are not attending to the questions I think we have just one main question here. The electoral rules will be passed. They said from tomorrow we'll come across the document that shows if you are vying for a position, and it will also consist of the electoral rules. I think that has been discussed, and those are eligible. You will see it in the form, and every other thing that you need concerning the election, that would go viral tomorrow. So someone said, Mr. Dennis Aliu said, Ispon need to upgrade. State professional salary need to be reviewed. This can be achieved when Ispon has a positive force. Please, sir, our constitution need to be reviewed. Our constitution, I mean, it means our act, needs to be reviewed. There is one that says one must have been a member for 10 years before he's qualified for a position. I have issues with this clause. I think it should be looked into again. I think that is a question concerning the amount of years before you can vie for a position, before you can become a board member. So I think that maybe before now, maybe now, I don't think, because the election is already on the way. But I will leave it to our honorable to respond to the concern of this professional.
Okay, you know, we don't want to tamper with all the policies already established. Those that made the policies must have thought through. And you know, positions like this require experience, and I think that is why the level of experience needed is a bit high. If now it's a bit too late to start modifying things. You know, let them be the way they are. And you know, it's a trying time for Ispon. Let us go by what the policy says. And when we have a standing board, now that standing board would have the responsibility to review policies. But for now, what we are doing is to make sure the AGM, the conference and the AGM takes place, so that we can have a standing executives of the Ispon. So we just bear with it. If you cannot vie for a position, be part of the conference and support someone you think would project your own sentiments towards Ispon. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Someone is asking if there will be option for virtual participants. I don't think there will be that for election, but for participating, I think that can be done. But I will leave it, because of time. I also leave it briefly for the honorable to respond to that. He's saying if there will be provision for land participants.
Because the importance of this particular conference, we want physical participation so that we can strengthen Ispon. And by the time people come out in numbers, then that is to send the right message that yes, Ispon, the members of Ispon are greater than one individual. Thank you. So I would not want me personally. I think online now should be discouraged. But if the CTC sees it's important to do that, we don't have an objection to that. But so it's in the hands of the caretaker committee.
All right, sir. So let me quickly call on Engineer Friday Bassi. Sir, quickly, you can unmute yourself, sir.
All right, thank you for this opportunity. I am Ekomodu Engineer Friday Bassi, the Commandant, Nigerian Air Force Institute of Safety. I just handed over last week. I've been following Ispon. I joined Ispon about 5 years ago. And I used Ispon to attend my master's degree in the University of Central Missouri in the US. I had the privilege to see how the National Safety Organization is working in the country, different countries in the UK, the US, Australia, and other countries in the world. It baffles me why Nigerian situation is different. One key thing I want us to come out of this process is to come out with a disciplinary and enforcement unit. Because all these factions are breaking up and doing whatever they are doing because there's nobody to discipline them. Because where there's no discipline in place, anybody do anything, go to court and get court action and do anything. I want us to strengthen our challenges in this country is enforcement and discipline. So I want the Honorable Gumi, Dr. Gumi, please take a serious look at this aspect. That is why a lot of organizations are not working in the country, a lot of issues are not solved in the country, because we are not having enforcement and discipline department that is working 24 hours round the clock. So this is, I don't want to take much of the time. I've had a lot of what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. I want us to see how Ispon can be like OSHA in the US, how Ispon can be like HSC in the UK and other countries in the world. And all is because we have to put a strong framework in place. Thank you very much. That is my observation and contribution.
Oh, thank you very much, Commodore. You see, you are absolutely right. It baffles me how Ispon lasted for 10 months in a chaos and everyone doing what he wants. But when you want to bring peace, you sometimes use diplomacy first. That is my way. Use diplomacy. But when diplomacy fails, then you can use a sledgehammer to kill a fly. But for now, I don't want to take that route. But eventually, if Ispon reunites, then they have their disciplinary measures that the policy stipulates. That should be strengthened. And one of the things, like I mentioned, we are reviewing the Ispon Act. And one of the things we did is to give it more teeth to bite. At this point, let me just give you a hint of the missed opportunities Ispon is having because of this crisis. Foreign HSC practitioners that come to Nigeria are not supposed to come to Nigeria and just practice without a certification from Ispon. Another revenue drive. Employment opportunities that we can create from this. If every organization, every company in Nigeria employs the right amount of HSC practitioners, a lot of young people will be employed. We'll create a lot of vacancies for people to be employed. And believe me, right now, what is going on in Nigeria, believe me, safety is being relegated to the bottom of the ladder. Nobody cares about safety, even though some multinationals and whatever are trying to see that they do the right thing. But what happens to the small cottage industries where people lose limbs from operating machines they know nothing about, or faulty machines? What happens to all the people dying on the road because some haulage company refused to put safety valve on their trucks? These are all the functions of Ispon. These are the things that Ispon practitioners are supposed to, HSC practitioners are supposed to be doing out there. But we're missing all these opportunities to save lives, create revenue drive for the country, and create employment opportunities. But if we unify, believe me, if we unify, Ispon can be as great as any safety body in the world. It has the capacity to do so. It has the right materials. It has good people out there that have the knowledge that can contribute positively to see that Ispon becomes safety becomes at the forefront of our lives. And the work is enormous. Market fires here and there. So much to do in terms of HSC. And that means we can train as many people as possible, at the same time empower them to go and work out there and save lives. This is what Ispon is all about. Komodo, I think you're right. You're absolutely right, and it's one of the things we're looking at to bring out disciplinary measures so that people cannot be recalcitrant and do what they think they can do and get away with it. This is government, for God's sake.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So I will call on Mr. Dapo Omolade. Over to you, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And let me start by saying thank you to the Honorable Gumi for this town hall meeting and everybody that put this together. It's the first one I know about, and I think from what I see on this platform today, this may just be a good beginning for us. So thank you so much for this. 3 questions I will ask. I would like the Honorable to respond to. Number 1 is looking at the calendar now from what I've just seen, we have barely 5 weeks to this election. Do we think we have done enough awareness and publicity of this conference and this program? My little knowledge of the industry in Nigeria, especially with Ispon records, should tell a story of at least more than 10,000 members, either active or non-active in all the factions that exist. How many of us are aware of these details? It's 5 weeks. What do we need to do to increase this publicity and awareness? If October is sacrosanct, what else can we do? Where I'm private to some of the information that you are giving right now, but I doubt if I'm one of the maybe lucky 5% of the professionals that actually understand what the whole thing that this committee has done in the last few months, and then where we are going to. I would want to think through the honorable place, is there anything else we can do to increase this awareness? Or what are we doing to increase this awareness and publicity? Some of us have looked forward to what is happening right now. Some of us have been involved in all manner of things in the last 10 years let's say in the last 8 years of this one crisis. And we are waiting very anxiously to when this will be over. I have a feeling that we are getting close, but I think we also need to do this very right and ensuring that people who really need to be there are there for this election. That's my first question. So what are we doing with that? Number 2, I'm also aware that this election is going to be in Abuja, and I want to assume that's for strategic reasons from the House. However, I would have thought maybe there would have been a survey or a sampling to know the best place to hold this, considering the situation of the country, number 1, and also what you just said in your last remark, where health and safety has been almost at the bottom of the ladder. And I think another colleague of mine here has already written on the chat room where we are paid meager salaries. How do we come to Abuja from Port Harcourt in numbers, from Lagos in numbers, from Warri in numbers, from Kaduna and all of those places to Abuja? What number are we expecting to actually conduct this conference and this election based on what we have chosen for this? So that's a question also I'm asking the Honorable if he can answer. And then the final one, third one is, I'm also privy to what one faction out of the 3 factions have been doing with respect to letters going to corporate bodies, multinational, and threatening with respect to them conducting training. I've received call for several of them asking me to confirm the genuineness of those letters. These letters are purported to be coming from the House of Assembly. After now, if the Honorable does not mind, I can share a copy of that letter with you. To be coming from the House, empowering a faction to mandate organizations to train their workers. And I know how many are falling prey to that in the last 4 months or 6 months. What I know, this is not from the House. I'm aware it's not from there because I confirmed this. But what are we doing, Honorable, to stop this fraud? Because this is big fraud that is further dragging us to the mud. It's making the safety professional become so quackery without reputation, because somebody is going there to falsify all manner of letters and getting things done. Like the Commodore said, nobody is enforcing and everybody just walk away. Can the House do something? Can the committee do something even as we go in this direction to stop this very serious act that is bringing us to the mud? We are very ashamed of it because we know it's not right, but the companies out there are not aware and they're falling prey to this. So what is the committee doing with respect to what can the committee do even as we move to this very important milestone of the election? I'm committed to anything that will make Ispon 1 So even for the program in Abuja, if that's the final place, we will be coming to Abuja as much as we can. But we need the House to still help us to do more with respect to the question I've asked. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. You raised a lot of germane issues. First, let me start with the choice of Abuja. Abuja, it's I think, like you said, it's strategic. We want everyone to get a fair opportunity, especially when it comes to the AGM and the elections. Once we take it to Lagos, those in the other part of the country would be shortchanged. But Abuja is central, and we want everyone to feel, there's some sense of fairness in the choice. Actually, if we had taken Lagos, a lot of people in the southwest can attend in Lagos, but how many can you move to Lagos? How many can? But if you stay central, this is the center of Nigeria, and everybody should come and let's do this thing here. And that choice is really strategic. In terms of publicity, we are trying our best. Yeah, nothing is perfect at this point because of the hurried nature of the thing, and it's something we have to do, whether well prepared or not well prepared. We are trying our best to see that all the boxes are being ticked. We're crossing all the T's and we're dotting all the I's, and we are doing a lot of publicity on this. Believe me, a lot of companies will come to us even during our public hearings that they don't even know anything about Ispon. Just like I mentioned, up until now, I didn't know Ispon existed. So the problem is long. 10 years has passed because of the fight. People don't even know about Ispon. But if we end it now, all that will change. So we have to do a lot. And it's not just the CTC, those members, not just the House Committee and National Assembly that will do the publicity. We are all involved in it. And I like your passion, please. Use that passion to see that this succeeds by doing the right thing. If every one of you tells the next person to be part of the conference or informs the person on what is happening in Ispon, then I think 5 weeks is enough for people to know what is happening. And like I said, we are trying to see how we can make it as affordable as possible for people because we know the current hardship Nigerians are facing in terms of the economic situation of the country. So let's do it together. Let's publicize it as much as possible. This town hall meeting is one of the approach to see that this conference succeeds. So thank you very much. Now the issue of that letter, it would be nice to have that letter, please, because if we know if we get the letter, we'll know who's perpetrating that. The committee has never pushed anybody to go and train anybody. That's not our forte. What we want is what we do is to advise you to go and do the right thing as quickly as possible. If you don't have trained professionals, you need to go and do that. That's what we do. But we don't recommend anybody to go and do any training. So what you please forward that letter to me. Let's see it. And if it's a case of forgery, then we'll forward it to the right quarters for disciplinary action. And I thank you for bringing it up to us.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I think that is all. And this won't have one of the questions that I said I will ask later. Mr. Dapo, my mentor, has already asked the question concerning mobilization, because the truth of the matter, like what most of my colleagues said, the gigantic amount of money that we receive as sales professionals, it is too much. And let me put it that way. Let me put it ironically, it is too much for us to come, for most of us to spend, because apart from transportation, mobilization, so most of us, we have to lodge and so many other things that will be happening. So it's a whole lot. And if we want to look at what we have realistically, how many people we want to sacrifice, at the end of the day, we did the calculation, going to like 400 or 500,000, if not more, to come for an election. People also have needs, and the economy also. So we are also looking at ways in which, okay, how can it be easier for us? And you said that you're already devising means, and we'll be expecting to see those means that is being planned in order to make it easier for professionals to attend the AGM. So This would have been possible, this would have been successful if not for, because we've not had any of our women speak. And this particular town hall meeting would have been possible if not for the intervention of Mrs. Fumi Adebola. So Ms. Fumi Adebola, I think she's on the call, and I'm very sure that she will have one or two things to say. I can also see Ms. Monica Onwosu also. Our women too are also here, even though we have more men here. But regardless, you know, the women rules the world, whether you like it or not. So please, Mrs. Fumi Adebola, she make this happen. She helped us to contact the honorable, and he also accepted. So, Ma, please, can you unmute and also let's hear your voice, especially for the women.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Waliu. Thank you. And good evening to Chair. Thank you so much for the time that you've committed to all of us tonight to hear our sentiments. We're super grateful. I must say, as one or two of you have already mentioned, that the chair is a very, very passionate professional. Yes, he may wear two caps, one of which is the politician cap, but also we must acknowledge that he's also a professional. He's an engineer, meaning that safety is not new to him at all. And so at a very last minute.com, when I got the notification and requested, Chair, would you be available for this town hall meeting? In a heartbeat, he said, yes, just, you know, put my name, I'm okay with it. So I just want to say thank you, Chair, for acknowledging and accepting the invitation to be here tonight. It's definitely what all the professionals needed with all the brouhaha that's going on, that's in the air at the moment. So thank you. Waliu as well, and to your entire team that's behind the movement. We want to say a big thank you as well for what you're doing, and to all the fellow professionals as well to keep the hope alive. And if I can borrow Mr. Dapo's words, you know, it does appear that light may just be at the end of the tunnel. So I just want us to keep us, to encourage us to keep us hopeful. And lastly, I could not leave this part out. You know, we've heard so much about this AGM and the election and why we all need to participate, but I want to beseech my fellow women to please put their hat in the ring and vie for this, you know, presidential nomination or this election that's coming up. It would be a shame if we don't. I know we have what we call something called imposter syndrome to make us feel like for whatever reason, maybe we are not up to the task, whether for cultural or social reasons, whatever the case may be, especially historically where it's always been, that position has always been held by the male gender. I think now is a time for us to be able to, you know, change that narrative. And I think we can only do that by actually putting ourselves forward for it. So I just want to use this medium as well to encourage all our sisters who are part of Ispon to please get involved. Thank you very much once again, Waliu, and Chair, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Ma, for that. If you have any other thing to say, question, please kindly send them to me. We'll forward it to, through Mrs. Fumi Adebola, we'll forward it to the Honorable for him to respond, because we actually do not have much time. We'll be having more men speaking this morning, and it won't be fair for us if we do not hear from more women. And for that, I will call on Mrs. Monica Onwosu to also hear our voice, even though they are already campaigning, no problem. Ms. Monica Onwosu, please kindly unmute.
I don't know about the campaign, or Waliu. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Honorable. And it's such a delight to really listen to this. It's finally happening. And you've spoken with so much wisdom. And no doubt you have this depth of what is going on. I mean, you touch almost every aspect of the situation. Riding on what you have said, I just have one appeal. And I can see that You're actually a very a peace-loving person, and that actually gives us that level of comfort that yes, this will really finally come to pass. We've seen a unified Ispon, because truly, as together as a team, we can do much more. We can achieve quite a lot. My appeal would be that I know, no doubt from all what you've said, you've done quite a lot, to be honest. You've been able to reach out to the other faction that pulled out. My appeal would be that, is it possible to extend the olive leaf to them one more time? Seeing what other comments other people had made, because we do not want to have a situation in our hand on the day of the conference. Really looking forward to seeing truly a unified Ispon. I have been a member of Ispon over 20 years or close to 20 years. So I was part of the ESCO before this whole issue started. So we already have a very good picture of what has transpired. Like you said, we want to leave the past behind us. We want to fail forward. Of course, 10 years is not a joke. A child that was born 10 years ago probably would be in high school right now. And so 10 years is a lot in the life of any man or any human being. So I really want to appeal that truly, if we are failing and want to fail forward, I want us to really fail forward holistically. And if possible, using your very good office, and one more time, extend that olive leaf to the faction that refused to join, so that we can, for whatever it's worth, bring them back on board. And really looking forward to seeing that truly the dreams of, especially the next generation, to be honest, we have not been fed to them, seeing that their dream come true. And I want to really say thank you so much, Waliu, and to your team for pulling this together. And I really want to commend you. And also want to say thank you to Fumi, yes. And saying that, yes, it's about time for women to, step up and remove that imposter syndrome. Absolutely agree with you. And I think this is an opportunity for all of the women on this call to really put their best foot forward. And like the Honorable has said, it is open. And I believe that would be able to see how we can support other women to be able to take on this position. I want to say thank you so much to the Honorable for the sacrifices and whatever is needed to support women, to be sure that I will be able to push forward women to come forward and support whatever it takes to unify Ispon. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you to all the leaders on this call as well. Thank you.
Yes, so many of our leaders are on the call. And I think we've had a wonderful time today. Thanks to everyone. If you start calling names, we won't sleep tonight. I can see Mr. Ifiolu has been here since morning. I can see Mr. Akim Mustafa. I can see our Oga, Mr. Femi Da Silva. I can see many, Dr. BK Brown, Engineer Goodluck. I can see Mr. Olubenga Ajayi. I have to be scrolling one after the other. I can see Yekini Kolawole. I can see so many of us, Mr. Abiodun, Olufemi, and to the immediate team of United Ispon Movement, starting from my very humble self, Wale Adegoke, to Chineme Okafor, to Akim Mukhtar, to Dr. Timothy Aluko, to my very friend, Mr. Nonso Nwagu. So, and many of us in the United Ispon Movement group, WhatsApp group, those groups, they are the people that can't join that group. So we screen those that used to join that group. Someone like Mr. Bakile Bakari cannot be in that group. Someone like Mr. Dakomari cannot be there. Someone like Mr. Julius, Dr. Julius cannot be there. We screen to ensure that it's only young professionals. No, it's not that maybe we are stingy, but because we also want our voice to be heard. And we are glad that our voice is being heard. To our honorable chairman, Engineer Sulaiman Gumi, we can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough for the sacrifices you have made right from the first time you started this journey. We can't thank you enough for sacrificing your time. You know how busy it is. Even I have a friend who is, I think, is a personal assistant to one of the House of Assembly member, and I know how busy he is always. is always busy. Not to talk of a House of Representative member himself. We know you are very busy, but still, you still have dedicated your time, your energy to help us with this. So please, if someone is asking me how to join the United Ispon Movement group, this is not an Ispon group. Please don't mistake it. It is not an Ispon group. It's not, and it is a movement, United Ispon Movement, that has championed this town meeting that we have today. So please don't mistake it together that these people are reciprocating Ispon. No, we are not doing that. We've been focused on having a process and to see through the process and also have our contributions towards the unity of Ispon. And that is materializing already. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of today. We can't keep mentioning names. We have so many of us. So if I have not mentioned your name, please, I'm very, 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 very sorry because it's already late. It's already late this night. And if your questions are not being asked and you want the Honorable to respond to you, please type them to me. Type them to me. We'll forward it to the Honorable and you will get your response. And if you miss any part of this session, this is live on YouTube. So after this session, it's also live on YouTube. And as long as YouTube continues to exist, this will always be a history. So we have made history today. And we believe that in the next couple of weeks, let's say in the next 5-6 weeks, we will all be happy and glad. Many of my colleagues, they are talking about the amount to be paid for the AGM, and I'm sure the honorable member honorable is still here. Please help us to still look at that amount that has been stated, because people will be flying down, people will be lodging, and to now pay another money to attend that same event. We know that it's going to be a sacrifice, but we know that there are other things that can also be done. Yes, please, and please, we will know the power of the government, the power of the House. These things can be sponsored and people can attend for free if very possible. Please, and please help us to still look into this on behalf of all my young professionals, young colleagues. Many of us are getting less than 150,000 naira per month. That is, many are getting less than 100. So how realistically, you will not have much people to join. So I'm speaking on behalf of young professionals. Help us to look into this. And if possible, if you can have a bus at strategic location, all these things are possible. Yes, you can have the bus in some states that will convey people with security, because in this world of insecurity now, with security to convey us down to there. And if possible, we can sort accommodation. Me and Abba, my one person can lodge in one room and sleep overnight and sleep for 2 days. So, but all things being equal, please help us to look for ways to make this thing easier for young professionals to join and express their right to vote. And that will be all from my side. Thank you once again. I really don't want this thing to end, but there's no way it will end. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And on the final note, we want the Honorable Sulaiman Gumi to give us the final remark. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me start by thanking Fumi and Madam Monica also. I was glad the female folks are into safety too, and I think it's a very important addition to the safety industry. So well done for all the things you're doing. Fumi is a consultant to the committee, and she's doing a wonderful job for us. So please keep on doing what you're doing for us. The conference, I think a lot of questions are being asked on the conference, 17th to 19th in Abuja in October. I know things are hard, and we're trying to get sponsorship. Once we get sponsorship, then we can either crash the price or I take it out completely. But for now, we cannot do that because we need resources to run the program, and it's what would make the program successful. But all the same, it's a sacrifice that we'll do, and once we do it after this conference, I think everything will be fine with Ispon. So people will have to bear with us. We'll look at ways, like you suggested, even if it means arranging security for people to move en masse from different locations to attend. But we have to come out and attend and send the right message that Ispon has come of age, and no one person can hold it to ransom. Please, Ispon, it belongs to you, and you have to take it back. and make it work. We have had enough experience. 10 years is no joke, and we should look at the next 10 years of prosperity. Nothing good comes easy, you know, and I believe the next 10 years will be the greatest years for Ispon by the grace of God. I am really happy to be part of the process. I feel is the little contribution we can also make to see that safety standards and regulations in Nigeria is being uplifted. And I'm really happy with the young people, their passion to see that Ispon comes back to be unified the way it's supposed to be. And like I said, it's in your hands. You will make it work. And on that note, I would wish everyone a very good night, and I hope to be with you again. Whenever you call upon me, I will try and be around and be available to answer your questions. And like you said, you can send questions to me through you or through Fumi, so that I can respond appropriately. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Before we finally go, it was called to my notice that the clerk of the house is on the call in person of Mrs. Chinyere Gift Ikeonidu. Hope I didn't murder the name, ma. Mrs. Chinyere Gift, hope I didn't murder your name. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. We sincerely appreciate your presence. And from your comment in the chat, I just saw your comment now. You said, yes, United Ispon eating target. Yes, we are eating the target and it shall be successful. Thanks for your contribution also, Ma. We appreciate you. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate every single person that has been here. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, the Honorable. And it's going to be a night of snoring because most of us we are all sleeping with our full heart at rest. Thank you, everyone, and do have a lovely night rest. I remain Waliu Adegoke. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Waliu.
Thank you, Dr.
Congratulations to us. This is one down, and we're heading to October.
Yeah, thank you so much, Waliu, for putting this together. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good
Nice
job,
nice one. We are with you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Well done, Waliu. Very well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you,
very well
Mr.
done,
Waliu.
Fumi.
Thank you, Engineer Waliu. You have done very greatly. You have done well. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir. This is a teamwork of the United Ispon movement, not just Waliu. So thank United Ispon movement.
Well done.
Thank the United Ispon movement.
Thank you, United Ispon movement. Thank you for all that you have
Akim
done.
Mukhtar, Chinemi Okafo, Nonso, Dr. Timothy Aluko, and my humble self, and every other person in the group. Everyone is doing wonderfully well. Thank you so much, everyone. See you all. Zoom is asking me to come.
Thank you, Waliu, for your great intervention.
Thank
and
you,
I
sir.
know
Thank
the Almighty God will hear your prayers and everything will come to normalcy.
Amen, amen, amen. Thanks for that prayer. I receive it.
Yes.
I receive it. All right. Do have a lovely night rest, sir. Zoom is asking me if I'm speaking language. Mr. Oga Lucky. Well done, sir.
Well done. Thank you so much.
So you are here.
You didn't allow us into the group, but we are supporting you from behind.
We can't allow you into the group.
I wanted to join the group, but my guys are here. We appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for the effort. We pray that everything materialize and this one will be one.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well done.
Thank you, Mr. Omogaga. Thank you, Mr. Loki.
Well
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
So we are going to call it off as usual. And don't forget our weekly webinar, bi-weekly webinar, even though it's not weekly again, you know. Hey, it's coming up very soon again. We'll be having another professor.
I get regular email, I get regular reminder. Don't worry, I'm on.
No problem, sir. So, Thank you so much, sir.
Well
Thank
done.
you so much. So we are counting from, as usual, from 10 to 1 to end the session. So in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,